that they're getting rewarded even if they bring in people who then get released. These stories of Americans being detained saying, show me your papers. There was a veteran, U.S. veteran, who was...
And then the ICE agents were moving down the sidewalk, shoving people and telling them to get off the sidewalk. They shoved me and I didn't move out of the way fast enough.
He's an Army veteran serving in the Iraq War. He was awarded a Purple Heart and was wounded overseas.
Ever heard that old saying, a broken clock is right once a day? It feels crazy to be reporting this, but today, that broken clock is Fox News. And calling it a broken clock is generous. It's a clock with no mechanism. It's a clock with nothing going on behind the face, just like its viewers. That's right, hell itself must have frozen over because a clip is making the rounds of a Fox News host roasting ICE essentially for corruption and incompetence. Still got a pulse. Not dreaming. Guess it's back to work. I'm going to show you this clip. It's bonkers. Before we get into this, subscribe because I said it with a commanding authority. With just a hint of insecurity. It is me after all. All right, roll the clip.
Brian, 82% of people saw that video. 53% think that he should be criminally charged for it. And then the Wall Street Journal comes out and they're reporting that there are incentives for ICE agents because they need to meet that insane 3,000 people a day quota.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but did we all catch that? This is a Fox News host describing an ICE quota as insane. A Fox News host calling Trump's operation insane.
That they're getting rewarded even if they bring in people who then get released. These stories of Americans being detained saying, show me your papers. There was a veteran, U.S. veteran, who was on a Carnival cruise, a U.S. veteran on a Carnival cruise with his wife who was taken out of his cabin, someone who served this country.
What is the percentage?
U.S. citizen. Do not act like ICE isn't making I don't even know how many mistakes a day in pursuit of Stephen Miller's 3,000 a day quota and getting paid for it.
Let's give Greg a chance.
God, that fucking sweaty shit stain who interrupted at the end being like, what's the percentage? What is the percentage of times that ICE violated people's constitutional rights? Was it below 9%? Because that's just all fine and dandy. Fucking idiotic bootlicker. To anyone with a functioning brain or who cares about society not imploding, maybe the idea should be even any more than zero instance of ICE violating constitutional rights is a problem. Not like some percentage. Like, yeah, well, we shot 10% of people were innocent. 9 out of 10 times I hop in the car, I'm not blackout drunk, so I'm killing it. Jesus. And that's not getting into the fact that the public is overwhelmingly against what ICE is doing, and even a majority, a slim one, but a majority still, of the country supports the prosecution, or at least investigation, of the ICE agent who shot Renee Good, Jonathan Ross. And in case you missed that lovely piece of news in the middle of a tsunami of diarrhea unleashed on us by MAGA, the FBI came out yesterday and said they are not going to investigate her killing. They investigated Renee Good's wife, presumably to see if her queerness was enough to have caused a fragile, weak ICE officer to have acted in hetero self-defense. But for the guy who gunned down a woman as she drove away, no investigation. I mean, they already told everybody what to think about it. Ignore the part where almost everything they said about the incident was an insultingly untrue lie.
Going after Mark Kelly, he says, Alyssa Slotkin, Jerome Powell. But he also mentioned what Matt Finn mentioned in his reporting there. He says the only person not being investigated for the shooting of Renee Good is the federal agent who shot her. So is the FBI conducting an investigation into that agent, into the shooting? What can you tell us about that? Will it be made public?
Look, what happened on that day has been reviewed by millions and millions of Americans because it was recorded on phones when it happened. Okay, the Department of Justice, our civil rights unit, we don't just go out and investigate every time an officer is forced to defend himself.
We don't go out and investigate anytime an officer blows people away. You want us to send people out every single day, 24/7? This is America. Some people are going to get gunned down by cops, but I get paid handsomely by the NRA, so...
We never do. That has nothing to do with what happened in Minneapolis. There are over 1,000 shootings every year where law enforcement are put in danger by individuals, and they have to protect themselves, and they have a lawful right to do so. The Department of Justice doesn't just stand up and investigate because some congressman thinks we should, because some governor thinks that we should.
Because more than half the country thinks we should. I mean, what do you think this is, a democracy?
We investigate when it's appropriate to investigate, and that is not the case here. It wasn't the case when it happened, and it's not the case today. If circumstances change, and there's something that we do need to investigate around that shooting or any other shooting, we will. But we are not going to bow to pressure from the media, bout of pressure from politicians, and do something that we never do, not under this administration, not under the last.
At least he's being honest. Something we never do, which is hold ourselves accountable for when our officers just murder people for no fucking reason.
And so, no, we are not investigating, and if there comes a time when we need to, we will, but it's not now.
It's truly unbelievable because, at least in the past, they would at least, insult our intelligence whilst patting us on the head. At least they would pat us on the head politely and say, we investigated ourselves and we found nothing wrong. Wink. Whereas now they're like, well, why do we need to investigate ourselves? We know we didn't do anything wrong. And people are like, well, how can you know you didn't do anything wrong if you don't investigate yourselves? Like, well, because we know we didn't do anything wrong. Like, the logic is so ass fucking backwards. If you needed to investigate only after you knew something was done wrong, why would you need to investigate? The point of the investigation is to work out if the investigation was needed or not. Sometimes things are investigated and the conclusion is, okay, there was no problem here. And that's fine, but the investigation at least pretends, you can't always trust it, but it at least pretends to try and get to some sort of neutral truth, some form of justice. Now they're just saying, nah, you all saw the video and we all lied to you about what's in the video, so fuck you in the face, America? Yeah? As this commenter put, quite accurately under this Blue Sky post, Todd Blanche letting every American know that you too can get shot in the face by federal government on camera and nothing will be done. That is the era we live in. So yes, this is all rotten and incredibly corrupt from top to bottom. They are openly signaling that they don't care about the law or reality or even what the public thinks. Why would they? They don't serve the public. And it's crazy that it's gotten to the point where even Fox News presenters are calling this out.
This is what Will looked like after he was released.
He is a combat wounded Iraq war vet.
What's even crazier is that she was talking about, one veteran who was detained on a cruise recently. If you type in now today, veteran detained by ICE, a brand new article pops up about an even probably more unjustifiable and insane story about a veteran being detained. And I struggle saying that because I'm not originally from America, so I don't necessarily buy into the jingoistic view of the military here. I think, at the risk of sounding like BoJack Horseman, I think military people are just people. It doesn't inherently make you good or bad. They're just human beings. But the point is, this is a country that does worship military, or at least pretends to. The military are a convenient subsect of people to worship and browbeat, to make emotional points, to appeal to emotion, to try and get past facts and logic. And of course, unfortunately, as many veterans will tell you themselves, they are quickly tossed to the side by Republicans once they've served their political use. But the point is, this is a country where saying they did this to a veteran will actually make some idiots, like some right-wingers, be like, wait a second, but a lot of them have swallowed so much of the Kool-Aid now that they'll still go back to the, okay, yeah, so they detained a veteran, but, was this veteran secretly Antifa? Was this veteran impeding investigations by looking at it? Because, you anytime you look at something, you impede it. That's why I say, don't look at my dick. It won't get hard. You're impeding it.
They were bringing out those two young boys that, were on the video. And then the ICE agents were moving down the sidewalk, shoving people and telling them to get off the sidewalk. They shoved me and I didn't move out of the way fast enough.
So as you can see, this video quality is not great. For some reason, the video was on Car 11, the Minneapolis news source. It was on their site. The article's still there. The video's gone. No idea why. But it's still a capture here on Twitter. Quality's not brilliant. But, it's, as he's saying, so they're walking down the side of the house, bringing out two children, because that's what federal officers do now. You got militarized, armed goons dragging out small children because, this is Trump's America. This is important fucking police work. I'm sure they're serious gang members. They told people to get out of their way. You can see the veteran here. He's like a sort of ginger guy with a bald head. He hasn't got a gun out. He's not shoving or pushing. He's just being grabbed behind from some agents because he's standing in the way of them moving, I suppose.
They shoved me and I didn't move out of the way fast enough.
Within moments, William Vermey was in handcuffs after he says that he was observed.
You can see he's not resisting. They take him down very easily. He's a veteran. I'm sure he's pretty fucking buff. They took him down very easily.
He's an Army veteran serving in the Iraq War. He was awarded a Purple Heart and was wounded overseas.
Wait, I forgot that bit, by the way. A Purple Heart, again, doesn't necessarily make him more or less of a human being than anyone else, but, America cares about this shit. Purple Heart guy. But now it's Trump's America. They're like, fuck it. Let's face it. The floodgates opened once Trump insulted McCain, I believe. for having been caught as a veteran, for being someone who served and got caught. He said something like, "I like guys who don't get caught." Like insane fucking bullshit, and Republicans just ate it up because the only thing they love more than the military is narcissism, and they want to see themselves represented in the people, in politics. They want to see themselves in the president. So when they see narcissism in the president, they're like, fuck yeah, that could be me one day.
Tackled to the ground by United States federal agents. You can see here in this video that he shared with us.
Tried to keep on my feet, and then eventually somebody grabbed one of my legs, and then I went over and they all toppled on top of me and got me in cuffs.
Once inside the detention center, he says that he repeatedly asked for a phone call, but never got one in the 8 hours that he was there.
They did offer bathroom breaks and water breaks, and I did ask for a Band-Aid, and they gave it to me, but other than that, it wasn't, I'd rather have a lawyer than a Band-Aid, I think, when I'm being detained.
Yeah, I too would rather have my constitutional rights, but what the fuck do I know, right? I'm just an immigrant. I mean, it's gotten to the point now where Trump's America is basically like the Matrix. You've got ICE agents who are basically, Agent Smith being like, "Mr. Anderson, I dropped out of high school at the age of 13. What if you found yourself unable to speak to your attorney?"
His family did get him an attorney, John Chitwood.
They were the ones that came at him for peacefully protesting.
Chitwood said that he went to the Whipple building and waited hours to speak with Will, and eventually was told that he couldn't, since Will didn't ask for his attorney by name, a name that he wouldn't know since he didn't have contact with his family.
I have represented people accused of the most horrific crimes, and I have never encountered the type of stonewalling, deliberate stonewalling and delay that I experienced in trying to see Will.
Just call it what it is, man. Fucking open law breaking. Openly breaking the law by the police. Police, agency, federal. Fuck me. Now, I know AI is trash, but one of the uses that I do think is quite fun for it, other than, evaporating the planet, is to sarcastically ask it if the things Trump's goons are doing are legal, and then to have it give you objective, sort of sarcastic answers back, like, well, no, why are you asking this, you maniac? For example, do you have to know your lawyer's name to speak to a lawyer when detained by ICE? No, you don't need to know your lawyer's specific name to request a lawyer when detained by ICE. You just need to clearly state, I want to speak to a lawyer. But having the contact name is crucial for connecting. Obviously, the connecting part was the problem, because this lawyer went to the building and they said, we can't let you see him because he hasn't asked for you by name. Like they're playing a game of fucking guess who. This isn't just a sign of how fucking dumb they are. It's a sign of how little respect they have for law. They do not care. They will make up any reason to flout it.
This is what Will looked like after he was released.
He is a combat wounded Iraq war vet.
Well, he's seen two tours now, once in Iraq and once in Minneapolis.
Someone who has honorably served their country is treated this way by the federal government, by these ICE agents, then how are they treating other people? It's shameful. It is un-American to the core.
See, that is where I disagree with the I know it's not everyone's viewpoint, but the sort of more jingoistic American narrative of like, we shouldn't treat our veterans this way. We shouldn't treat anyone this way is my point. And I guess the better way of putting that is like, they don't give a shit who you are. Like a lot of people on the right telling themselves, well, I'm not an immigrant and I'm white, so I'm fine. It's like, no, you're not fine, because they don't care who you are. If they want to, these are people that just enjoy exercise and power. If you're standing in the wrong place, they won't be like, do you like Trump? Are you a member of the Boogaloo Squad? Any of that shit. They will just enjoy using their power on you because they're fucking sociopaths, basically. I mean, who else is going to sign up for this job? That's kind of the point of the whole, first they came for the whole thing, Everyone knows about that. Well, people on the left do at least. Because if you've given them the power to treat anyone like that, they'll then use that power to treat everyone like that. That's just how it is and how it always has been.
I received a statement from the Department of Homeland Security, and they didn't address Will's detainment, but they said that any claims of subprime conditions at ICE facilities are false, adding, quote, all detainees are provided with proper meals, medical treatment, and have opportunities to communicate with their family members and lawyers. Ensuring the safety, security, and well-being of individuals in our custody is a top priority at ICE.
Jesus Christ. Remember when you didn't used to laugh at government statements? The crazy thing about that is it's another example of Trump's team being so incompetent and spread out and so stupid individually at different things. They're all very dumb at different things. They can't even agree on the same lie. This is why the Renee Good thing fell apart, because they couldn't even agree on the correct lie. The correct, they were like, okay, well, let's say that she blocked them and the agent's car's stuck and they had to dig it out and they were heroes. That sounds good, right? And nobody thought to be like, wait, is there video of this incident that would instantly debunk that? And then no one thought to ask that question. They just went right ahead with that. Same shit with this news program very cleverly or deliberately showed us his lawyer being like, yep, nope, they didn't let me talk to him. I was there in person. He asked to see a lawyer, but they said you can't see him because he doesn't know your name. Like it's a game of fucking guess who, which, have not seen in all my years as a lawyer because it's illegal, basically. And then the lie they come out and tell is, we always let our clients see the lawyer. It's like, yeah, better messaging needed. You got to agree on a lie beforehand, guys. This is amateur fascism, amateur shit. It is scary. I laugh and make jokes to stop myself from crying because this is, we're literally just seeing freedoms being eroded in front of our eyes. We're seeing the breakdown of society as we know it. Like it used to be, America was never like this perfect utopia. It presented itself as that through Hollywood. It was never this perfect utopia where laws were always followed and the police were always respectful. Like, unfortunately, America IRL is not like the America of the movies, as many people who live here will tell you. But it used to be a semi-functioning country. Now all pretense has gone out the window. It's just all gone. Like we've gotten to the point now where they think it's funny to say, well, we couldn't let him see his lawyer because he didn't know what pair of glasses he was wearing. They don't give a fuck. Like the amount of disrespect to the law, to just the public is insane. It is infuriating. But that's why it's good to stay informed. That's why we'll keep bringing you updates on cases like this. So make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you next time. Fuck me. What a ridiculous news story this is. Anyway, I'm British Chris, and this, unfortunately, is Raw America.